Things are stressful. Well, no wonder. It's the end of the universe. Okay, fine. I get it. Does it mean that I have to be a good sport about all the finality bullshit that the mongrels who call themselves humans throw my way? No. Then, having said that, the answer is yes. I do have to be a good sport about it, because ultimately that's the only way to win. Don't sweat the small stuff. That was the lesson I learned from my man Jake. Sitting together, two filthy hippies with our backsides in cosmic beanbag chairs and our minds pleasantly out of phase. I'd say, "My God." He would pause a moment, and then in a low, somber tone, "Yes." And I would say, "My God, you are beautiful." He would laugh, hand me a toke, and probably a snort more often than not. Freya would be dancing, or flopped over on her back, looking at the sky and wearing nothing but veils made from the sheen on bugs, while neon fish swam in her hair. She would listen to this exchange. Then, after another pause, she would bark her high, one-syllable laugh and say, "Ah, well, God, I need a drink." "Give me one too," I would ask as she unstopped the bottle. She would smile and kiss my hair, and most often fall over onto me. Then we would be giggling while cold whiskey soaked through my hair and onto my bare shoulders, refreshing my skin. Meanwhile, my man Jake presided over all this with his bony knees and wise, dark eyes staring down his long nose. Then Freya would go and find all three of us girl drinks instead of the whiskey, the glasses elaborate with bright colors, straws that were too short, and exotic umbrellas and toothpicks wearing tassels. They were sweet and filled with fruit and alcohol, just like me. Ritualistically, and with somberness befitting the ornamentation of a sacrificial virgin, we would remove each piece of beverage regalia and place it in the other's hair, or amidst the gossamer veils that were all we could be bothered to wear. "Let me rearrange your rapids," she would say, grasping the pale blue veils that turned to white froth around my ankles. Her fishies would swarm and adore each new toothpick or parasol, as though it were a priceless treasure, until we ran out of new places for all our toys. But still the drinks kept coming. We would turn as one to Jake and kneel at his feet with eyes full of longing. Each time we would try, but we could never win. He was naked and hairless, except for his socks, hat, and underpants. We would mercilessly garland his neck with charms made of paper umbrellas and pink, yellow, green, and blue novelty straws. His hat would become a crown, and his socks pincushions of tasseled toothpicks. Rising with clumsy grace from out of his cosmic beanbag chair, which was rife with sprinkles and jelly, of course, he would proclaim with eyes as somber, as twinkling, as merry, and as sad as a black pool in a forest where no foot has tread, "I am Monkey King." Freya and I would raise our arms high, still on our bended knees, and respond as we bent to put hands and faces to the floor, "He is the Monkey King." Then he would extend a hand to each of us to help us to our feet. Of course, he would tumble on top of us should we actually attempt to use his hands to assist us. Capering and hooting with mad joy, we tumbled across the galaxy and through universes unknowing, together like puppies in a jumble of love and our own incoherence. The stars would fly by and we would play until we would fall into our chairs once more, and then Freya would pronounce, "I'm bored." And Jake would say, "You want some crack?" Freya, with her voice so high it was processed directly through the hypothalamus, would say, "I already smelled all the crack." And I clapped my hands together and laughed at their remorse as Jake cried out, "No!" until the firmament was frothy. Then he would start to sob and bite his fingers. Suddenly he would snap one damp and abraded hand, fingers, lift up his cap and say, "Hey, we've got plenty of smack still." Then we would watch discs of stars turn in space and wonder what everyone else was doing for a good time. I would sing songs that floated into my mind and then forget them as the notes left my lips. Jake would read us his poems, and Freya would tell us stories about kingdoms and magic and all the little people and creations that ran about like glittering freckles in the cosmos. I would sing us streams of starlight so we could wash each other's feet. I would laugh as waterfalls so we could climb a height only to plunge to the deep. I would cry as the sea without tides or currents just so we could laugh again at how hard we had wept. I would croon us a brook, I would giggle as a spring, I would gyrate as a geyser, I would yell as a rapid, I would share all my gifts and all my love. I would rend my soul, stretch, distend my being. I would tear out my tendons, I would pull out my hair. I would give you my eyes, I would rip out my teeth. I would pull out my fingernails, I would give birth to 1,000 planets and worlds. I would do all these things just for things to have wound up, just for things to be better, just to stop up the sorrows that plague us, just so this end wouldn't be the only thing that could be. Tears streaming, eyes gritty, no strength in my arms, my hands are fists beating the ground, and I feel hands lift my face. Brown eyes from the pool no one has seen into stare deep into my mind. That's when my man Jake said to me, "Don't sweat the small stuff." And he was laughing, and I was laughing, and we all laughed, until Freya was bored. And then Jake would balance the Milky Way on his finger and order more drinks. And then the universe would go on and on and on until one day, today, it all got too bad, too lame. We all called it quits and started signing acrodatas. But that's just the paperwork. And as it falls to rack and ruin, we all have to remember all that's left is the small stuff.